Good morning, day traders, and welcome to Market Minute, a hedge fund trader's technical analysis of the stock market for Wednesday, March 23rd, 2022. Let's get after it. So, a little bit of a challenging morning here so far, right? We've got kind of that decreasing volume profile here on the index level. Support that or kind of back that up with sort of that nasty gap down here this AM. We've had a lot of bullish momentum here over, say, the last 6 days, and it wouldn't be surprising to see this thing want to slow down, catch its breath, reload before it wants to kind of pop again, right? It's very challenging for us to kind of sell into this trend here still, unless we can get a really significant outlier volume breakdown to the downside. Yesterday was a pretty much full body, full strength day where we saw no real lower low, right? Not even off that opening bell could we see any attempt from sellers to step in. So we continue to have a very bullish bias here this AM. But, right, because we are gapping down and because we're kind of, 1% away from that 450, 55 breakout, we kind of run out of momentum, or we have to be cautious that we don't run out of momentum by the time this thing breaks out. So we want to see that volume step in. We need to see really strong candles on any breakout. And then if we can get that follow through, SPY has a little bit of chance to kind of run towards that 452.50 area, right? 453.50 and then that 455 zone. Very similar story here on QQQ, right? Relatively strong full body day yesterday, right? Break through that trend line. Nice little hold, but not that increasing volume, not that incredible sign of strength. Now again, right, 6 days in, we could kind of expect to maybe see it catch its breath here a little bit, right? Consolidate for a second and then kind of pop up and over that 358 target. If right, QQQ can give us that momentum, if it can give us that strength, then we think we've got room past that 360 towards that 363.70, and then maybe even testing that 365 zone later. Apple, right? Okay, maybe not as bad as some of these other names, but we're starting to run into some zones where there's a lot of half levels. So we need to be a little bit cautious here until we can kind of get a breakout up and over. Sort of in between this 169.60 and that 170.70, 170.50 area, we have basically just like 3 or 4 spots where price could get stuck. So if Apple can break through on significant volume, right, hold that 170.50, then I certainly think that there's a lot of room up towards, say, that 172. At least gives us an opportunity for a reasonable risk reward profile towards that first level. If the momentum is really strong here this morning, then there's definitely room towards that 175 area. Bearish bias, right? Not really there. It's kind of hard to sell into the trend. So, if we kind of break down under that 150, which is just not going to happen here today. Tesla may be my favorite setup here pre-market. Not really a significant gap down compared to, say, the indexes, and then giving us that really strong increasing outlier volume. Tesla ran like a psychopath yesterday, right? And it was really moving and kind of filled this low area of resistance that we were talking about. So we'd like to see that trend continue here on any breakout above that 10.05. If we're able to get that high volume, high conviction breakout, then we kind of move like $10 at a time up towards that 10.30 mark. Microsoft, right? Very similar story as we're seeing on the index level, where it's okay, good, nice looking candle, right? Kind of bad volume profile, and then pair that with a little bit of a gap down here. So the momentum that we had to the upside is definitely kind of slowing down here a little bit, and we need to be cautious that we're not chasing this too aggressively on any breakout past that 305.50. If it has that room, right, well, we can maybe make it towards that 310 target, but we continue to have sort of that indecisive price action and need to be a little bit skeptical here with this Microsoft. To the downside, right, we kind of have some challenging setups or not very many looks. So if this market does turn red, I'm going to be looking at something like this AMD, right? A little bit of a rejection at the top of its channel line, kind of that, increasing daily volume, right? Or at least kind of on par. So now if this thing can kind of break down after that second most bearish candle, we certainly have a little bit of room down. Definitely starts to get a little bit more room under that 112.60 area, which is kind of this March 21st low. So we might not get that right risk reward profile initially, but if you can get that 112.60 breakdown, then it starts to move $2 at a time, and there's a lot more room there. Similar narrative here on NVIDIA. Now we've kind of 2 days of back-to-back indecision here at the top of an area where there's expected resistance. So 2 days of indecision, high volume indecision tends to tell you that neither side has given up. So we can look for breakdowns or breakouts. Because we're gapping down here so significantly, can start to look for breakdowns under this 259.80, and then that starts to move like $1 at a time down towards that 255 mark. So that's how I plan on dominating today's action. If you guys liked this video, please like and subscribe. If you want to day trade with me live, you can join at dtrtrading.com or join me today as I'm live streaming on YouTube all day long. Otherwise, have yourselves a fantastic session and talk to you all tomorrow for the next Market Minute.